This episode is proudly brought to you by our sponsors who make this content possible. Thank you for your support. Hey everyone, welcome to Let's Connect Now.
Yes.
The podcast where purpose meets impact and where we explore stories behind the footprints people leave behind.
Ooh.
I am your host, Monica.
And I'm JR. We tried something a little different today.
Yes, we got to get better every time. So, and...
Yes, so real quick, guys, this segment is brought to you by Westcovina Grocery Outlet and Munoz and Munoz Attorneys at Law.
Yes, so today our topic is legacy. We're going to talk about legacy.
Something I really love to talk about, too.
Yes, it's something that, you know, when I think about certain things that we want to talk about, I always think, you know what, let's talk about something that has purpose.
Right, exactly.
And our legacies definitely have purpose, right? What legacy do we want to leave behind?
No, that's very
as
important.
Human beings.
And it's very important, too, because even that, you can get even deeper, men, like for myself, as a man, I always say to myself, what type of legacy I want to leave, even though people say, well, you're dead, who cares? No, but it's that you're dead, who cares? It's still your family. Mm-hmm. Your family still has to hear the things. Your family still has to deal with certain things. So it's not who cares, your family, your legacy. Mm-hmm. So what type of legacy do you want to leave? I love it.
And I feel it's important that when we talk about our legacy, the legacy that we want to leave behind, it's never too late to start that, to start thinking about that. What kind of human being do you want to be up until your final day? Because you can't say, I'm going to start being, thinking about what kind of legacy I want to leave behind when you're 60 years old, right? I think we should start, as soon as we can, because your character determines, what kind of legacy you leave behind. Am I right about that?
No, you're right. And people is legacy. What do you think about? What do you think? Is legacy and impact kind of the same thing? Impact,
of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand.
Because
no, definitely it goes hand in hand. I think everything, your whole character, the things you do behind the scenes, the things you do in front of people, everything.
It's the impact. Yeah, you leave a legacy. You make an impact, because there's times I've heard people say that, that person, made an impact. Like they're only a part of something for a little while, but they made an impact, more of an impact than somebody that was in there longer. Mm-hmm. Because in the short period of time that they were involved, they made an impact in people's lives, and then other people that have been there longer just didn't do anything.
Yeah, because some people don't care. But, when we held our breakfast, the unsung hero, there was a purpose behind that.
Yes.
And that is to really highlight those that, do things behind the scenes, right? And even though we think no one's looking, people are looking.
People are always watching.
But they're selfish people. They think about others before they think about themselves, mm-hmm. right? And I think that's important. I think the teacher that that worked with he's a young teacher too,
yeah,
right?
He's very young.
He worked with the younger people to really help them get ahead in life. He never thought, these people are thought of me, and wow, now they're I'm an unsung hero. They were very humble. Mm-hmm. I think all of them were
very humble and very shocked on how the participation of a lot of businesses even gave items for them to. I mean, it was funny because what's his name from Suburban Waters?
Yeah, Craig.
He was, every time I was handing him something, he was like, I loved seeing his face, because he was like, I've never got this many things, not even for my birthday. But it was the appreciation that mattered, and we loved it. It was amazing.
And I think they're leaving a legacy behind, of just being a human being who wants to help, others and their community. Mm-hmm. Personally, I'll go back to, say something about myself. I always thought, when I started the Greater West Covina, I never really thought about, am I going to leave a legacy behind? I never really, because I was in my 30s, I never really thought about anything really. I just thought about, let me build this business and because I love community. Right. I love the community. I never thought, all eyes are going to be on me. Politics, whatever. And everything just kind of started taking its course, and then I thought about it, as many times, believe it or not, as I wanted to give up on the GWC because of the politics, because of the haters, because of just everything that kind of, goes into a mixing bowl,
Right.
I really just, I really was letting the outside impact me, and the things that I really wanted to do. But anyway, but then later on, as the years went by and everything, I thought, if I left, what legacy am I leaving behind?
Right.
And I feel personally, as this being, our business now and moving forward, that the legacy I want to leave behind is that we made an impact in the community.
Yes, definitely. And that's why I love what we do, because we talk about a lot. We go to different events, and when we go to events, there's most of the time people are coming up to us saying, hey, I watch your show. Hey, I see your show. And we're like, we don't know the type of impact that they're making. We're making, and they're just watching us.
Yeah, and I think I shared something that has never happened to me before, but I feel like I need to talk about it, briefly.
Well, apparently she's watching.
I know. Thank you. So we go to a couple of weeks ago. We were at a family function at Lazy Dog, and it was late. It was like 9:45, almost 10 o'clock. Well, anyway, I go into the bathroom, and I hear two voices on the outside saying she's in there, but I never thought, because I was in there with my mother, and I never thought in a million years like, they're talking about me. I just heard them say that, and then I come out. And there's a young girl. I'm not sure what she looked young to me. A young girl and this other girl, and they're saying, "Hi," and to me, and then I'm like, "Hello," but I just did it normal, like, they're so friendly, and I like that. So, and then she's like, "You're that girl from the podcast," and then I said. No, she didn't say that. She said something like, I know you, or something. I follow you. And I said, oh, thanks. Greater West Covina. She's like, yeah, I follow your personal page. And I said, oh, okay. And then after she told me, she went on to say, I follow your podcast. You're that girl from Med Spa Deluxe LA. I've been going there for 7 years. And she said really good things about Med Spa, which made me happy. And I said, oh, yeah, we talked a little bit about, the spa and stuff. And she's like, yeah, I got my lips done. And, I said, oh, they look beautiful. So anyway, we're talking. She's like, yeah, I'm a fan of yours. And I was like, when she said that, it felt unreal. Like, it felt different, because you normally don't get that. You and I have been at events where we're talking to somebody, and then there's a line, right? And we're thinking they're waiting to talk to that person, but it wasn't like that. They were waiting to talk to us. Yeah. And I was like, because they really liked the show, they really enjoyed it, and they just wanted to say thank you, and we really enjoyed it. It was nice. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm like, okay, but you know what? But none of that, honestly, people, goes to my head. It really doesn't.
No, it just makes it feel like what we're doing, we're on the right path.
It makes me feel happy. It makes me feel like, okay, hey, we're doing something right. Because when you make an impact on someone in some form, some way or whatever, it really says a lot to us personally about reassuring us that we are doing something right. Because you and I beat ourselves up all the time because we want to make sure that we are doing this, like this, and that we're following this path, right? And sometimes we feel like it's not enough. But yet other people on the outside, they appreciate even the things that we criticize ourselves with.
Oh no, definitely. I believe I know that you and I are so hard on each other every day that we actually beat each other up, even before the show too. Even we're so hard on each other to make sure that we get things right and
like
do
no
things.
joke.
Yes, because you know what? At the end of the day, we really want to make an impact in the business community. We really want to make it, and it's just like, even for somebody out there that wants to leave an impact and a legacy and stuff. And you're right. You know, people are always watching. You don't know who's watching. That's why when we're out in public, you know, even now, you know, having daughters that are in school, your kids are in school. You could go somewhere and they go, "Oh my God, you're Sam's mom," and "Oh, you're this," and "Oh, you're in Asia's dad," and it's just like, oh shoot, you just never know who's watching.
Exactly. And the other thing is too, like now that we're you know, we've made a connection with the Latino chamber, little did we know that that one of the ladies that works there, you know, we were supposed to be, you know, working on something 5 years ago, and we reconnected again. So for me, it's so important, and I hope you guys realize that too. That when you burn your bridges with people and you say, "Oh, I'm never going to meet that person," especially in the business world, you know, don't say that.
No,
because even if they screw you. Even if they screw you, you know, sorry I'm using that word, but that's the only word I can
screw
think
you
of.
over.
Yeah, screw you over. Even if they screw you over, you know what? Walk away with dignity, because if you decide that you want to fight them back, you don't know who they know. They don't know who you know. Your paths will cross again.
Yes, it
eventually.
will.
whether it might be years, it might be months, but you will come together again. And so why burn your bridges, you know, over stupid stuff that sometimes you just need to walk away. And there's times where you can actually resolve it, you know, versus just like walking away and you know, like you don't care. Care because you never know when your paths will cross again. And so in the business world, it's important that we take a stand for what we believe to be right. And, you know, if the person is, I don't know, it's acting foolish or did something to you, you know what, simply, you know, talk about it, you know, like human beings, not in a way that it will impact it or it'll equip them to go out there and talk and say, "Oh, this is how they acted towards me, this is what they did." So I think all that goes hand in hand with, you know, with the kind of person that we want to be.
No, I remember, I mean, just even, you know, because you're right about burning bridges. I have a story about burning bridges because I'm, you know, the type of business I've always been in. I've been in the entertainment business. I've been in production, doing videos, music videos, movies and stuff. And everyone always said, "JR, you're so bubbly, you're so happy, blah, blah." And if I didn't talk to that person anymore, they were never like, what did you do? They would always go ask the person, "What did you do that you don't talk to JR anymore?" Because I'm such an easygoing person to get along with, to connect with, that if you didn't associate yourself with me anymore, they looked at the other person as the bad person. And I wouldn't talk, you know, trash about the other person either. I just like, I don't know, go talk to them. We just don't get along, blah, blah. But there is one incident that this individual, we're on the phone and we were really getting into it. Him and I. And he's like, "You better be careful, man. You're about to burn this bridge." I go, "Burn the bridge? You know what, man? I just blew it up." And he's all, "What?" I go, "I blew the bridge up. The bridge is blown up, man." And he was like shocked that I was even saying that, because, you know, but I only said because I knew that I was never going to talk to that person again unless he apologized. Because like I said, you know, I'm the type of person that in business, in life, in anything, I want to leave an impact. I do. I want to leave a great impression that people have of me and who I am, and be helpful and stuff. And so wherever I go, and you said this too, that you what'd you say last time? You see how people, you know how people are on how they treat a waitress or waiter. You know, and I'm big on that.
Oh, I'm super big on that.
To take care of them.
Yeah. No, I mean, I have a little story about that. You know, when I decided to really just, you know, dive into dating and going out with people. I always, because my parents owned a restaurant, as you know, me growing up, that's how they pay for my school, and that's how my parents sacrificed a lot. They owned a restaurant, and I remember the customer service, and I remember the kind of people my parents would attract because of their personality. And you know, knowing my parents, my mom is very friendly.
Yes.
My dad is very, you know, straightforward, but at the same time, he's a very nice person, and they always had great customer service. So for me, that upbringing taught me a lot about how to treat a person in that field, right? So one time, one lady came in and demanded that my parents, you know, give her something or change her order in a way that was so demeaning, where she threw things at them.
Wow.
And really was awful. And this person worked at a bank across the street.
Wow.
But she was having a really bad day.
Yeah.
So my dad, you know, instead of my dad reacting to the way she was acting, my dad picked it up from the floor because there was other customers that were coming in. She made a big old spectacle there. And the next day she comes in and she apologizes. She's so nice and she's apologizing. And my dad said, okay, you know, okay, but, you know, what you did was wrong. And she was like, I know, I was having a really bad day. Everything was just going wrong. And, oh, I am so sorry, you know, Jose, what can I do to make it right, and this and that. But she left an impact on my dad that was like, because she honestly like blew up and threw the food at them. So that experience taught me a lot. So every time I go to a restaurant, you know, I always said, you know, the way the person that I'm with, the way they treat the waiter or the waitress, whether they get your order wrong or whatever, some people make a big, you know, thing out of it. I just kind of wanted to see. And so when I went out with my husband, we went to a restaurant up in a hill, and the guy messed up my order. And right away, David, this guy barely spoke English too, was talking so mean to this person. And I was like, unacceptable, unacceptable, because it reminds me of how, you know, some people have treated my parents, and how my parents felt so like, wow, you know, it's an ugly feeling because you feel unappreciated, and it's not even their fault, really. So I stopped him and I said, you know, I will never, ever, and I always said this to myself, marry someone who treats someone that is serving you with no dignity, or like they owe you something just because you're there and you're a paying customer. I get it. The customer's always right, but there's a way of saying it, and there's a way that you could be, you know, you could still be nice and treat a person right.
Definitely.
Versus trying to be like you're better than them, because you're not. I'm sorry. You are not. He continues to be nice, and he's going out of his way, and yet you treat him like if he's insignificant. I don't like that, because my parents taught me that if the person is selling socks, doesn't matter what they're selling, whether it's socks, whether it's whatever it is, you treat the person with dignity.
No, definitely. Because they're out there working hard, you know.
Yes.
And people are working hard. And us as businesses, you know, yeah, we could be having a bad day here. Even us. We could be having a bad day sitting here working. But when someone walks in, it's not their fault if they're walking into something.
Not.
We have to, hey, how you doing? How can I help you? You know, and automatically, because, you know, it's the type of impact and legacy you want to leave on people, because they're going to somebody that comes in here and has a bad experience, like, man, they were, man, you know, they're going to leave, and then that, you know, businesses grow by word of mouth.
Exactly.
By word of mouth.
And I think we, you know, us, you know, we are leaders. We are not bosses. We are not, you know, we are not the kind of person that you're super nice to people. You're friendly. You're bubbly. You're always like, oh, you know, I think you overly do it sometimes, but that's just you. That's who you are. You know? And that's how I think people will remember you, right? But because, and me too, I think I'm a nice person. Sometimes I don't know how to turn it off. and sometimes I do. I try my best. But I think as long as we're aware of our attitude and the way we treat people, that just says a lot of how you're going to be remembered. If today's your last day or whatever, what kind of impact do you want to leave behind? How do you want to be remembered? I know he wants to have a huge funeral because he talks about it. I think the more people, the more he was loved. And
the reason why I say it because I used to work at not Forest Lawn. That's the other one by Rio Hondo College, Rose Hills. I used to work at Rose Hills, and I was a teenager and stuff. My almost late teens and early 20s, and I worked at Rose Hills, and I used to put the tents up for the people that ordered tents. So I put the tents up, and sometimes on my break and stuff we would drive around and make sure the tents are secure and stuff, and you would see maybe a couple of people at a funeral, and to me I was like, wow, that's the impact that they made. Like, I don't want to.
Well, how do you know that's what it is? It might be that, maybe they don't have any family here. Maybe they just.
I understand, but it just been in my eyes. I was like, no way, I want to make an impact. And then, my brother passed away, and I, me being a production guy, I went all out and had a big funeral for my brother. And had a big funeral for my brother, and then we were at the house hanging out, and I have a little brother, and I looked at him and I go, great, my funeral's gonna suck. Wow. He's all, wow. I go, well, I did my brother's, Michael, but I looked at my other brother and go, wow, I don't know if you're gonna go all out for me.
Wow.
But
but you never know.
But see, this is the thing though. The reason why it was impactful, two reasons why. Because, of course, my brother made a big impact in people's lives. I mean, people were telling me stories that my brother would lend his car out. If somebody was stalled somewhere, he would go and help them and pick them up and take them where they needed to go. I mean, he was very, very helpful and stuff. And the second reason why it was a big funeral, because of his personal life. And then the reason why, too, is because of the impact that I've made personally, too. The connections I've made where people wanted to help out because the love they had for not just me, but for my brother. And those go a long way because when things like that happen, you see the impact that you've made, where people are willing to help, donate. The church is free, videos, live stream. I mean, it was all out like a production. And
it's funny how you talk about, no, it's not funny, but because you're mentioning all this stuff, to them, it doesn't matter because they'll never know.
I know.
So that's why I always tell you, believe me, you're not going to be watching, your spirit's not going to be watching, whoa, I really made an impact.
Well, shoot, you know what? I'm going to fake my death, and I'm going to walk up and be like, this is who came? This is who? Call the ones that didn't come. Really?
I think a lot of people choose, like I have family members who choose only to have intermediate family at their funerals, only because of, that's what they choose.
No, and you're right. What we did is the funeral was for everybody, but the burial was just for immediate family.
Yeah.
So I understand it was just for us so we could have our time. And so I do understand. That's why. So it's not that the person didn't make an impact. It might just the immediate family wants their personal time alone at that moment, which that's what we did.
Yeah.
Because it would have been hundreds of people at the burial, and it would have been too crazy. So that's why we had it intimate. So I do understand, but it was to see the impact that he made in people's lives and hear the stories and stuff, and his legacy still continues because I still share about him and stuff and stuff, and then we, now it makes you think about what type of legacy you want to leave and the impact that you want to take on people, and it's just the littlest things, making a call, seeing if someone's okay, even if you're in business, just making those calls. And you made those business relationships, making those calls and to family, to friends, to loved ones and stuff. It pop in your head. It just takes 5 minutes. How are you doing? I hope everything's okay. It doesn't have to be a whole hour conversation. It could just be 5 minutes. But those are the littlest things that matter. Because I dislike when people say this. When I run into them, they go, dude, I was thinking about you the other day. My response is always, then why don't you just text me? It'll take you 10 seconds.
But that's okay. They don't have to.
They don't have to, but it bothers me when you say, because then I know you're lying.
I know, but sometimes they think about you, like I think about a lot of people, but I don't react to it. I think of it for different reasons.
Well, maybe you should react. That's the point.
Yeah.
You should react to say, because they pop in your head for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And you know what? You should be like, you know what? I want to see. Oh, I'm just gonna say hi. Yeah, because don't get me wrong. Like if I know I can call my dad, I have to be like, okay, shoot, do I have 30 minutes? Because I know this dude's want to talk about everything that happened in the past. So I have to. So I get it. You know, there is people you're like, okay, you know, but just a simple text is a simple text.
Yeah. But overall, you know, I think this conversation was just, you know, let's be good people. Right now, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. I mean, here, you know, in our neighboring cities, you know, in our neighboring cities, and the people that negatively are impacting our communities by, you know, damaging businesses, by doing, you know, going against, you know, public safety, you know, the you know, police and others, and hurting businesses of innocent people. That's not an impact. You're not causing a negative impact.
Yes.
And if you get caught, really, you want to be remembered for that? And it's just sad, because right now is when we should all come together and really support each other and share resources, you know, to the people that might need those resources, and let's prepare ourselves for, you know, and prepare others if you have information about, you know, how to protect yourself and how to like, I'm really happy, and I have to say kudos to our legislative, you know, representative, you know, Blanca Rubio, and to our local senator, Susan Rubio. Thank you for sharing resources. Also, the Board of Supervisors, they're all sharing resources about how, the kind of things that you should say, the kind of things, you know, how to protect yourself in case, you know, you get stopped by you know, whoever, ICE or is it called ICE? Yeah, immigration or police or whatever. You know, like I don't know, to me it's like, let's just come together. And I understand that people are frustrated and they're angry, and I can't really get into that because I don't really, you know, that's not the topic that I want to talk about, but we're talking about the impact and our legacy. You know, let's just act like, you know, like human beings and be considerate of others. We're destroying
being
our city.
Considerate. You said a key, being considerate of others, because the other people, we talked about it. Protest. But you're right. Do it peacefully. Do it. You know, very peacefully. Because when the thing is this: when you damage a car, you damage a building, you damage a police car, and you're like, yeah, you know, the system.
How is that impactful?
That is not impactful.
It's negative.
Well, the problem is, who pays for that police car to get fixed?
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah.
So you don't damage. You're not hurting them. Because at the end of the day, the vehicle doesn't belong to the individual that you're trying to hurt. The vehicle belongs to the government, the city. So the city has to pay for it. So our taxes are going to pay for the car that you damaged, that feel that you did something great, but you didn't do anything, but you just put more problems.
It's just
then it's somebody that's just trying to pass by. You damage their car. Now they got to go through their insurance, have no vehicle. Maybe they're struggling. And now they got to put their car to get fixed, their vehicle to get fixed. Now they have no chance. It's like it's a ripple effect of complications that we're making a negative impact.
So when you're sitting in jail and you're sharing your stories with other fools that are in there with you for the same reasons, that's not an impact. That is a foolish act.
Yeah.
You know, of ignorance.
No,
I don't know.
Protest all you want, but just when you see people vandalizing and doing certain things, dude, tell them stop, man. Somebody has to pay for that.
Yeah, you're stealing from other businesses. They're breaking into, you know, jewelry stores, shoe stores, and these are hardworking.
And I don't know how that's protesting when you're breaking into other places. I don't get it, because then yes, you're making the whole nation view that, wow, so should we send them back then? You know, should we? Well, that's the reason why we're doing it then, because look at what they're doing. Make a positive impact, man. It doesn't help us whatsoever. But protest all you want. I mean, we're not against that. Let our voices be heard. Share what we want. Do, you know, but make that positive impact. And by being negative, I don't know. Because if they have kids, and I see, you know, if I was a child and I'm looking at my dad, you know, challenging the police, you know, and throwing things and trying to start a fire, and that's my father. And then years later, and my father dies,
that's what my dad did. And that's the legacy my father left behind, or my brother, or whatever. So, so basically, we can get into a whole conversation about what's currently going on, in different areas of our communities. And we are just saying, you know what, let's make an impact, and let's leave a legacy behind that is impactful in a positive way.
Yes, definitely. Let's do it.
What's going on right now, our hearts go out to all the people that are, that are suffering, to all the children, to all the young people that are being impacted by this, BS that's going on. And we're with you, but again, there is a lot of resources in your community. So make that, reach out. Don't be afraid. You know what? Stand for what you believe, because that is the impact, and that is the legacy you're going to remember yourself by, when you stood up and you did the right things. That's
right.
all I could say.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. Yes. And when we come back, we have a special guest. With Valerie Rivas brought us another special guest. We're excited. Yeah. Man, she's bringing all these special guests. So when we come back, we'll get back and we'll have Valerie and the special guest. We'll have her introduced. So we'll be right back. Yeah.
Hey, I'm Michael.
I'm Ralph.
Welcome to Munoz and Munoz.
Come check it out. Here at Munoz and Munoz, every case is important to us. Big or small or big, we're here to help you.
And here also, privacy is our #1 priority for all of our clients. So come check it out. Our #1 priority is serving the community. We want to give the best attorney service out there in the industry. We're here to help you. Please call us for any personal injury or criminal defense needs that you may need.
So thank you guys for visiting our firm. As you can see, I'm here, Michael's here, always ready to serve you guys for any questions. And please, do not hesitate to call us for anything you need. It could be the simple question, we're here for you. Y sí, hablamos.
Shoulders, knees, and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. And eyes and cheeks and mouth and nose. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes.
Affordable self-care from professional massage therapists and estheticians. It's what we do. Massage Envy, where better begins.
Hey everybody, I hope you guys are enjoying the show with Let's Connect Now. My name is Danielle Wood. I'm with Prospectors Federal Credit Union, a division of Certified Federal. You guys want to contact us regarding any banking needs or even auto loans and personal loans, feel free to contact me at any time. You can reach me at 909-396-9688 or 909-504-7371. I'm looking forward to talking and speaking with you all soon. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. We are excited because we have a special guest. But before we get to our special guest, this segment is brought to you by Massage Envy, West Covina, and Diamond Bar, and also Prospectors Federal Credit Union, a division of Certified Federal. Yes, I have to make sure I get it right. Thank you, guys. That was a long one. That was a very long
they
one.
also have 2 locations.
Yes, they have. Yeah.
Okay, great.
No, I didn't say that.
Thank you. Yeah, they have 2 locations. They have one location here in West Covina and the other one in Diamond Bar.
Yes, you know what? Just like Massage Envy.
Yeah.
All right, good. Yes. Praise God. Now, so we have a special guest, but before we get to the special guest, we have business consultant Valerie Rivas here again.
Once again.
Yes.
Welcome.
She's always going to be on the show, so get used to her, everybody. Oh my gosh, she has the parade wave. Great. Now, Monica and Valerie, oh my God,
right?
Jesus.
Yes, she brought a great guest, someone that, I've met several times, had, many conversations with him. And so now we're discovering what he's all about. And I'm actually loving our conversations. Welcome, Dan Pereira, to our show.
Yes.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you.
No, we're excited. We're excited. You know what I like about him? He's always dressed real spiffy. He always has his spiffy.
Stylish hair.
Yes.
And
Smart tech.
Smart tech.
How do I dress? You gotta dress smart tech.
Oh, I like
He's
that.
a tech guy, so gotta make sense, right?
But you know what? For a tech guy, you dress good.
Thank
you dress
you.
really good for because I know the tech guys. Tech guys just look. Some of them look like they just roll out of bed. You know what I mean? Because they're like, what? I'm home all day. I just, I work from home. I'm on my computer. I'm building software. But he always dresses really nice.
He's not a traditional tech guy. I'll let you know right now. He's always out there in the community. Where's the next event? He's out there, doing panel discussions. So definitely not your ordinary tech guy.
No. And one thing that I love about you is definitely that accent. Now I know why. A lot of men, that date, or meet women with foreign accents. They find it to be very an attractive asset. So I just wanted to say that to kind of fluff you up today.
Okay, don't fluff him up too much. Let's not talk about we're not going to be able to get that door.
But no, we've been having great conversations with you as well as with with Valerie about the many things and the way AI is evolving in the world right now, right? And I think we brought the perfect person to to have a further discussion about that, especially to all the businesses that are watching and the people that are just simply interested in what AI is doing in the world.
First of all, thank you so much. You guys been too kind, telling good things about me. So AI is, even I don't know what's going to happen next week with AI. That's how fast it's growing. Like last 2 weeks, I've been following up with what Google is doing, what OpenAI is doing, what Microsoft is doing, what every other small creator out there putting out AI tools, what's happening. And it's just blowing my mind because I think it's faster than what we thought it's going to be when the AI transformations that's happening in the world that's happening now. It's hard to keep up. It's very hard to keep up. And most importantly, because there are so many out there, people are so lost. Which one to use for what?
Right. It gets confusing.
It is confusing because it's because AI is not sleeping while we are sleeping. Take it that way. So imagine a computer runs 24/7, but we go to sleep. Artificial intelligence learning during our sleep, because when one side of the world sleeps, the other side actually wakes up.
Right.
And they are using the same technology and the same platform while we are sleeping. So AI doesn't sleep. So they are learning twice as fast as we are evolving as humans.
No, that's crazy.
But there's humans behind AI, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. And so they just have different brains, in other words.
AI, in a simple term, it's like this. Imagine that first iPhone came in the first decade of the 2000, right? 2008, as far as I can remember. People thought there is no AI, or there was no AI kind of in the conversation, but AI was all around us, even in the 90s. Like when you're reversing a car today, right? There is a sensor that's telling you you're getting closer to something. What do you think that is? It's an algorithm that's written to understand there's an object that is close enough where you should not knock it. What do you think that? It's an intelligence. So these are the initial starting point of artificial intelligence for public. I'm not talking about NASA. I'm not talking about the Department of Defense. I'm not talking about that.
Right.
That's private and that's different IP, intellectual property. I'm talking about what was access to us was that. So cars was one of the first AI generated equipment that we used. So it was there. And now we have that palm of our hands on our mobile.
Right.
Now, Dan, I know that right now we're talking about what's really available for the public. Now, can you tell us a little bit about JX and how you've been able to help some of my clients, and I've been able to help with the funding, by the way, which is a great community partnership that we've had. Tell me a little bit about some of the things that you have incorporated with AI to some of the businesses and how it's helped them automate a lot of their daily operations.
Thank you, Valerie, for that question. First and foremost, I need to tell you, we sign NDAs with every single business that we work with, so we cannot share proprietary information or intellectual property. But I will make sure that what we share is not that.
Right.
So it was my idea.
I'll let you.
So a couple of things that we automated on a logistic company, that how quickly that they can find out where the trucks are. Like, let's say that it's a logistic company that moving containers from A to B, right? And this software is basically detecting the traffic and how quickly that this truck can go from A to B. And there's a predictive analysis that actually giving to the customers as well as the client. So that's improving efficiency and productivity as much as the client doesn't have to call the freight forwarding company or the shipping company, say, where's the container, where is this, when I'm waiting for this. You don't have to anymore. The system basically gives that. And also another project that we did with AI, the predictive diagnosis for especially in the oncology space. So this application carries out a lot of data of patients. Now this is HIPAA certified. HIPAA is an organization that actually approves that whether your databases are protected, so that it cannot be hacked, and there's a protection of basically cybersecurity kind of compliance. So what this does is basically gathering all the data of these particular patients and give a predictive, only a predictive, not an accurate, because still it's learning, a predictive diagnostic of this particular patient. What could go wrong given the symptoms that we are looking at during the last 3 months? So AI can go and find out all the other information around the world, pull that data, check this patient's symptoms, and analyze it and give you a predictive diagnosis.
And that's like in seconds.
18 seconds.
Do you know what? To me, I'm sorry, I have to give you my personal opinion about that. I mean, not to derail you from
absolutely.
your answer, but to me, that sounds very scary. To know that my health care or my diagnosis is now in the hands of, not a physical doctor, but in the hands of AI. So,
I think you're scared because I've gotten into these conversations where. Yes, AI will diagnose her, but if there's something that could be done, like that human touch, that human instinct still, because the AI will be like, no, this is what it is, but a doctor could say, still go, but no, because they can't feel. AI can't feel. So
disagree.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I can answer the question.
Oh,
so,
great.
Monica, for your concern, it doesn't mean that AI is going to tell what's wrong with you. No, absolutely not. It's prediction, not accurate. It's a prediction.
Right.
It's like I might like there might be rain. Like it might rain today, but we don't know. It's the same thing. So basically, the AI is going to give the doctor, this is a predictive diagnosis. It doesn't mean it's accurate. It's giving information. What do you think for the last 20 years, ever since the internet came to life, do you think that doctors didn't research on Google? They do it every day.
Oh my God, it's so funny because yesterday I did have an appointment with my rheumatologist, and she's to me, she's the experienced one, but yet she says, "Let me look up your current diagnosis. Let me see if I can find some more data and information on this." And I thought to myself, "Shouldn't you already know that? Why are you looking it up?" At the same time, I was looking it up too, and it was weird. And I was like, "Whoa!"
They're comparing notes.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not. It's definitely going to be, especially within the health industry or medical industry.
Right.
It will be under human interaction or human control. It's not. I mean, the most interesting part right now is we are in the age of that transition.
Right.
How much control that humans wants to and needs to have, how much we are allowing AI to do. JX, we have 7 ethical principles when we build AI tools, right? One of the biggest ones is we are making sure that nobody loses jobs. We are making sure that the data is not manipulated or the consumers are not manipulated. We are not using against humanity.
I like
that's a consideration.
That's
we
good.
have seven of them in our company. So when we talk to a client, we always say these are our consideration. Do you fit into that? Because I don't want to be the
bad guy walking in where everyone's going to look at it as
like
Dan. I'm losing my job because of Dan.
It's like a Terminator all over again. But the thing is, we have that, and I think we were talking about it before of this podcast about the biggest challenge I see in the business community is that knowledge and awareness. A lot of people know there are a lot of tools out there. A lot of people wants to use them, but then they're going to start using them and they don't know how to integrate with this tool to that tool and this system to that system. And they go in and they get hooked on. Now I can't pull back because I've given all my data or I've given all my it's called prompt engineering, which is what you asked from it. Now, how am I going to, like you were asking, Monica, am I going to have 2 databases now? How am I going to migrate this to that? So I think if you're a small business or medium business who wants to use AI tools, doesn't matter if it's AI or not, any application, you need to be more knowledgeable and awareness. So make sure, like, call Valerie, call me, call you guys, and get in touch with us to basically ask what should we do. It's not going to hurt. It's not going to cost you anything. We are here to help, because if as businesses, humans overall, if you don't take the right decision right now in the age of transformation of AI, that's not going to be a good thing in the next 10 years.
Right. I was going to say that too. People cannot be afraid because no matter what, it's coming. It's here. And if you're not going to adapt to it, you're going to lose out. And eventually you're going to be forced in a way.
Absolutely.
Not because of government forcing you, but just because that's where it's going.
Yeah.
It's just where it's going.
I'll give you another example. So we have a learning management software that adapting into AI right now. We were talking to a professor from a university locally, and she was basically asking, like, how can I improve my teaching methods to my students? And she wants to know where AI is going from educational perspective. As much as for our company, so many other tech companies around the world, because we are a global company, the developers, you call engineers or programmers who code, has been instructed by their leadership teams to use AI as much as possible. 60% is the actual percentage they want these guys to use it, because it's the adaptation of artificial intelligence so fast. So I'm telling everyone out there, start using AI tools. Doesn't mean you get hooked into it. Learn how to use it, because it is happening whether you like it or not, including education.
Yes, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, I meeting other clients and seeing, their struggles with their, with their businesses and the different datas that they have and the different tools that they need to use. They're so afraid to grow. And so when you stay just with what you know, instead of like trying to, evolve with your business won't grow. And that's one thing that I think it's the biggest struggle, because some people think, oh, that's not for me. Oh, that's not for me. AI has different tools for everybody, right? And I'm sure your company can help them develop what is best for them by simply, meeting with you,
Absolutely.
having a conversation with you about, what they're looking for, what their needs are. And we need people to be able to explain that, because people cannot be afraid. Just like before, back in the day on the internet, people were afraid to just even make mention of one thing and go in there, because then, one thing will pop up or whatever. Is that the truth? I don't know, but now you Google something and you get, thousands of
seconds,
things,
So,
right?
I'll tell you something. But 10 years ago, isn't that what we all said? Ask Google. Google it.
Yeah.
Ask Google. Isn't that what you said?
Yeah.
Now, ask ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Ask Claude. Ask this, ask that.
Yeah.
We are going through the transition. It's going to happen. We subconsciously, as humans, we are already using it and doing it. We don't know until we get so comfortable, right? It's like trying out a new drink. Right, Val and I go out and have a drink and say, try this. I'm like, no.
And you guys don't invite us.
Yeah, we don't get invited, so you just rat yourself out.
That's true. That is not, how do we get this thing out?
But it's not. It doesn't mean it's alcoholic. It could be a juice. Doesn't matter.
It was a root beer.
Yeah. So you're getting used to it, and after you get comfortable, it's become normal again. So we are going through that.
It's true.
It's normal again. And for your point, Monica, like when anybody wants to find out what they use, we are here to help. We are here to make sure that creating an awareness of technology and make it safe.
Look.
I keep hearing on different advertising, whether it's Instagram or just Google ads, or even on YouTube. Well, I don't really watch TV anymore. It's all YouTube, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Netflix. So any ads that come up, a lot of them are saying that a lot of people are using ChatGPT like Google, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you did mention that just right now. So what are some things that we can incorporate as far as AI to scale up businesses, right? So a lot of these businesses are trying to scale up. You know that I do a lot of financial literacy workshop, and everybody's like, how can we incorporate AI to not just be, okay, this is my next prompt, but actually be able to scale them up, maybe get them more sales or get them more traffic? Like, is there anything that AI you might be able to incorporate, whether a beauty salon, an attorney office, a massage envy, whatever it is? What are some things that you can incorporate where it's like immediate? Get
every
rich quick.
She's asking ChatGPT.
I know.
Thank you for calling Dan GBT.
Hey, we should read it.
Oh god, it will be like
Val GPT?
like Claude. It'll be Dan. So basically, before I answer directly, there was a time end of last year I was counting like how many tools coming out of the market. It was within 3 weeks to 1 month. There was about 152 tools came out. I think last October.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That's how fast that so many tools are coming out. So I'll give you a couple of examples. Like Jasper is one of the leading marketing
I've heard
tools.
of Jasper.
Marketing tools for digital marketers. Like Jasper, it creates content, it gives you a lot of help as well. OpenAI ChatGPT is like Claude, it's more research. Ask him to do repetitive task of, okay, rewrite my emails, to give me a calculation and things like that, writing reports to that. And there is Leonardo AI. Leonardo AI is all about creating graphics. Right?
Ooh.
So you can actually ask Leonardo to create a graphic. It's more around illustrations and graphics. It can do human compositions as well. Like, it can ask, okay, can you create me a photo of a podcast with 4 people? I want 2 females, 2 males, and mics has to be this way.
Wow.
Wow. I'm writing it down.
So Leonardo AI, so it's an Australian company that I'm closely, I know who they are very well. There's also, everybody knows Canva. So
Yes.
Canva is now coming up with their AI kind of features as well. There is, I don't want to say these kind of brands, but the accounting and bookkeeping, there are a lot of AI tools are coming as well.
Question to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned all these different apps.
Yes.
And they're all individual.
I know where
Would
you're going.
JX
I was gonna literally, Val, you were reading my
be able to
mind.
do all of that
Yes.
customized to my company? Let's just say that I have a law office.
Absolutely, yes.
use
Dude,
Greater
GWC,
West
Greater West Covina, like right
Yeah.
now. Okay, my next
You're just
question.
trying to get a free consultation.
Yes,
Yes.
of course. We have to take advantage of this.
Because my next question was that,
Yeah.
like, we use 3 different types of AI.
Yes.
Right now.
Yeah.
One for certain things that I have that we do for our marketing and stuff. But is that what your company does? Is eliminate using? I have to go to here to use this one, this one to this one, this one for this one. But we're able to. So like Val said.
Yes, we can build one tool to do all 3.
Oh, hallelujah!
Wow.
Okay,
That's
guys. Well,
amazing.
we're signing up today.
and if not,
Get you
let's
a loan.
yeah.
I'll find you one.
Yes, please.
And also, we know that every small, like every business, they have their budgets, they have their, how much they're willing to spend. So let's say that the company doesn't have the funding or the capacity to borrow money, or they don't have money to build it for that, the cost of it. So the first phase I would recommend is, let's build something, we call it like a middleware. That means let's build an algorithm and let's make sure that those 3 tools of yours communicate to each other, so you can actually have a one system doing everything, but still you're using that. So it's like an integration, right? So
yes.
we can do that as a first phase, and later on we will build your own AI tool, can do all 3 at once.
Amazing, amazing. And I have a question: Is there any I don't know grants for what you do, if someone wanted to integrate AI into their business, if they have a business that's making, a lot of money, I guess.
So when you say, did you say grants?
Yeah.
Monica?
Is there grants that
Yeah.
would pay for something like this?
So there are grants, that actually gives. I think the first set of grants comes from $250,000 that you can actually borrow from SBA as well, as far as I know. So that to go through the transformation of AI, go through the transformation of technology.
I can help a little bit with that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So when it comes to grants, so SBA doesn't have grants specifically for AI or any
Okay.
type of software development or mobile applications, but they do have disasters. So in case, like for example, LA wildfires, that just happened. They have certain assistance for that.
Correct.
Now, grants, the place to go for something like that, the most reliable is going to be grants.gov. And so you go on there and then you see if there's any grants available. Now, you got to remember, some of these are private companies or maybe somebody that passed away and they left on their trust that they wanted to create a grant for something that they were passionate about, whether it's, helping, women business owners or maybe minority business owners, whatever the case it may be. So you just have to see the guidelines, what it entails, what the qualifications are, and make sure that you're applying to the correct grant based on what you're applying for. If not, then you're wasting time, because it takes a while to do the grant writing.
Oh, yeah.
And then two, sometimes they have an application fee like $50, so you're going to be spending money where it doesn't need to be spent if you don't take a look at the qualifications.
I was just wondering if they were making grants available for AI software or for companies to be able to integrate that into their business. I mean, they have grants for almost everything, so I was just wondering if AI was already there.
So what we can, like Valerie said, Valerie would be the best person when it comes to financial literacy and how that get it done. What we can help that, about how we can help for that kind of a grant, we can write the business, like the actual proposal and business plan from a technology perspective for the company to get it.
Oh, wow.
Even for investors, right?
Absolutely. So we will take care of all the paperwork for those applications that we will write from the scratch, with the compliance that's required to get a grant, and we will take care of all the paperwork.
So all the businesses have to do that they're watching right now is basically contact you, and when they contact you, you help them literally through the whole process.
Absolutely, yes. And Valerie will come in to help on the financial literacy. We will do technology, and if there's anything else, I'm sure that we will find them as well. Valerie?
No, yes, absolutely. I did want to bring something up as well.
Okay.
Remember how you helped one of my clients, and by them building this application, it was going to make their balance sheet a lot more marketable. Can you talk a little bit about that? How, incorporating an application that is customized to your business, how that could actually add value when you're trying to sell the business?
Absolutely. So I'm sure there's a huge space right now globally, not just in the United States. A lot of mom and pops businesses are not getting transferred into their children, right? What is missing in mom and pops businesses? Technology. Because they used to do everything in paper.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Everything in paper.
Just old fashioned.
Exactly. So what happening right now, a lot of investors are looking for these businesses to be bought in and resell or invest in it. But they cannot do it without having an automation process in it, because they are not going to have somebody sitting there doing all the receipts. They're not going to spend money on that.
Yeah.
So what we have done is we have actually created that little automation software. We call it a ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning Software. So it just to do the process of a business, we do that. And let's say a $500,000, $200,000 business now valued at $1 million.
Wow.
Simply because you add technology into value, and it's not going to cause a lot of money to do that. It is a simple software that actually automating that process, which going to add value to it. And more importantly, let's say you have a unique business or even a common business, but you do it so uniquely that you are the best in the business. You can create a software for yourself, and you can resell it to everyone else who are doing the same business.
Oh, wow.
And you become a kind of partial tech company too, which we will support.
No, that's actually amazing, because this is information that I didn't even know about, which that now, of course, I'm going to be sharing with some people. But it's amazing. It's amazing. I'm happy that you came on. I'm happy that you guys are you guys pretty much know each other really well. So of course, all the stuff about everything that you're sharing, and it's exciting to know that this exists, because up until today I didn't know. I imagine some of it.
I've been trying to find something that could just be one. That's the problem.
I just want to make AI get to know me.
Oh,
and
great.
know how I write emails versus the way it writes it. Yeah. The way it writes it for me is complicated, but I love it that I could change certain things on it, because I want to sound like myself still. I don't want to sound like, oh my God, that's so ChatGPT, because he's caught me on that before. And so it's
she'll send me a personal text, and I'm like, this is great. Tell ChatGPT I said thanks. And she's like, It's from my heart, though.
I'm gonna add.
It is from my heart.
I'm gonna add something. So
ChatGPT just put it in together for me.
one of my friends actually messaged me yesterday or today early morning and saying that what would you ask from AI today? Like if you want to ask about today sales or marketing or whatever that you want, how would I do it? What would I ask? Can I ask? I said, as long as you logged in as the same login for OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, right now, you can simply, ask from ChatGPT, the questions I've been, the prompts, the questions I've been asking from you for last 3 months or 2 months, the strategies to this, that, what should I do today? How should I go about today? Right? So what ChatGPT will do is go back to all your prompts, all your results, because it's going to have it on the left hand side. It's going to read it, and it can give you, just like you're asking from Google, those are like, how should I talk to a friend? How should I go and ask out a girl, right? So this is the same thing, but more analytical to what you've been doing with ChatGPT for the last 3 months. So it's
You're right about that
impressive.
because
I
today,
love it.
Because today, he was like, I want you to research a topic about what we want to talk about today. So I went to my ChatGPT and I said, give me a great topic for Let's Connect Now that would be great for me to have a discussion with JR. And it gave me legacy. Talk about your legacy. Talk about the impact your legacy will make in the community when you're no longer here. And so that's what we talked about. And I loved it because it was like exactly, but they put it together for you so greatly. Unfortunately, with this guy, I have to go off the grid of what it's telling me because he bounces. He doesn't research what I'm going to talk about, but it just goes off track. And I'm like, that was not the question. But okay, let's go to the next one. And he changes it for me. But anyway, but it's great. It's exactly what you just said. It's great. I also ask Alexa, from my Alexa. Yeah. And the analysis that it gives me sometimes, I don't really care for it, but it gives you different things. So, but I really love their motivation, and it's all AI generated.
So again, 2016, I would say 16, 17, there was a trend around designing for voice experiences. My background goes into technology and design. When I say design, like how it all looks like, what's the experience looks like. So I was doing a research at that time, and then there was a huge trend on designers. When I say designers, the ones who design your application or product design and everything, right? Who design this cup. So basically getting them to understand the conversational experiences. That means you need to listen to conversations more and more. How you ask questions from people, and how would you ask a question from Alexa as well, or Google or Siri. See, whenever I want to ask something from you, I already know I'm asking from a human. But every time I ask from some Siri or Alexa, I talk in a different tone.
Right.
I talk like I'm talking to a machine. But
true. That's so true.
But the thing is, Alexa doesn't see it that way. Alexa is trying to understand the words and sometimes the tone of voice and stuff. It can say if we're too loud, because the frequency and decimal points can tell you you're loud or not, right? So it is also learning to become better and better at it. So you're asking from ChatGPT. There is no difference that you're asking from Siri or Alexa, because that's the same thing. The difference is that OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, has a vast majority of data to kind of analyze and come back to you, where Siri and Alexa doesn't have the same capacity.
Yeah.
But they're both AI.
No, and it's interesting you said, because I have literally, you're right, because when I get my stuff from ChatGPT, I'm making sure that I'm using certain words so that it can understand me, because I'm looking for a certain answer. And that's the way I'm asking it. So you're right.
You have to be very specific.
I'm very specific and detailed, and I'll even say at the end, so go through my website and find me my stuff. And it will, it'll give me everything and who we are, and it'll bring it. And I always end like that. Or go to Let's Click Now, find it on YouTube, and find me and give me my stuff.
Absolutely.
And dude, this is crazy. Oh my god.
I just wanted.
We gotta get going though.
I want to add a couple of things. A project that we have based upon recently is actually creating agents, like AI bots, creating agents. Wow. Two investors from Europe, from actually Vienna, and came to us saying, Dan, can you build agents for us? I said, agents? AI agents. I said, yeah, we can. But are you specifically looking for certain industry? No, we want just agents who can do whatever that people ask for, and it'll be like an e-commerce website that, like, you can pick and choose whatever. And I'm like, sure, but to do that, to get the agent, single agent to do a paralegal work or accounting work and stuff, it's going to take a long time to train. But you can start from one industry. So there are people around the globe trying to create technologies that are actually going to produce more efficiency and productivity in the workplace. We know that whether we like it or not, certain jobs is going to get eliminated. Doesn't mean that you're not going to have work. I said this 2 years ago in Inland Empire, that there was a panel discussion. You're not going to lose your job as long as you learn how to use AI.
That's the key.
That's what I want to say.
And I think that's a misconception that a lot of people have. They think that AI is going to take over your job. But you just clarified something that I was actually going to ask next. The fear out there is that the AI will take over many jobs. But I think, like you just said, I think maybe you're saying that it will just simplify our jobs.
I'll add you, because we talked 2000, there was a dot-com boom. Everybody was worried about people losing jobs because computers are coming. Did anybody lose jobs? No, everybody had to learn Microsoft Word and stuff to increase efficiency. 2010, we had the SaaS boom, which means software as a service boom. All the automation software like Salesforce, all these, everything, right, came out. Facebook came out for social. Did anybody lose job? No, it created jobs.
Correct.
Now, in the last 5 years, we went through COVID at the same time. We were going through an AI boom now. People are not going to lose jobs. You just have to learn how to use it. I'm telling you, in the next 5 to 10 years, we are going to go into the next wave of technology. We are a growing population across the world, 8 billion. That means they're going to create more jobs. People need to eat.
Yes.
People need to move. So
Yes.
it's not going to, you just learn to use the tool.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, I love
Man,
that.
Dan, we never had this
thank
conversation
you.
in the past. Dan, I think I had it with you a long time ago.
Work mode today.
Yeah.
I love
thank
it.
you, thank
And
you,
that-
thank you.
You know what
You
this-
simplified it for
yes,
us.
you know what this shows? It just shows how passionate you are about your
I love
business,
it.
and we love bringing in people and having conversations about people that are passionate about, their product or what they represent, or just giving knowledge to people. As Valerie is very passionate about, all the things that she brings to the table, because she's very knowledgeable in so many
Absolutely.
areas,
Yeah.
and we love that. I mean, I see the passion in you with this whole AI, and even with your, JX, your business. I mean, I think you bring a lot of light to people in regards to the new technology that's going to be taking over. It's just a matter of time. So
I'm
thank
not
you.
the typical tech guy after all. Huh?
No, he's not.
Are we gonna have a robot eventually?
No, pretty soon Dan's is gonna be that what do they do when you're not there, but they put an image of you.
It's a hologram.
Hologram is me, Dan the hologram here. Hi guys, I'm here right now.
No, we love that. We love that, and we thank you. And I think we
Yes,
want to
thank
have
you so much for
more
coming.
conversations about this.
We
because
need
there's
to have more
so
conversations with this.
There's so much more that we can share with
Yes.
with the business community about this new technology that is taking over in a positive aspect, of course.
And also, sometimes it's not as expensive or costly as you think sometimes it is. It can be a very small, quick fix to improve your efficiency. Sometimes it actually needs to build a brand new system. Sometimes it don't. Don't be afraid of it. Just like I've been taught that whenever you need help, all you got to do is ask.
That's right.
So don't be afraid.
So how can people find you then? How can people get a hold of you, get in touch with you? You have a website.
Yes.
Let people
Well,
know.
he's here right now. I'm just kidding.
So you can go into jxtech.ai, which is jxtech.ai, which is our website. And you can reach out through that. There's a phone number, there's an email, and also, most importantly, I know that JR and Monica is your community leaders. Reach out to them.
Yes,
and,
yes,
come
definitely.
through them, because they are your trusted agents. They are your trusted partner. They've been with your community a lot. So they trust me, but I'm new to you guys. So trust them and talk to me. So I think that's the
Thank
best
you.
way to put it.
No,
Yeah, no,
we're
we're
definitely going to
definitely-
implement. We're definitely going to implement. I mean, Valerie's like, you're implementing this. Yes, Valerie, we are implementing this.
We listen to her.
No, but
Yeah,
thank you
but
so much for coming on. I
yes,
really appreciate
absolutely.
Valerie again with the business consultant. She's an amazing woman. She's bringing us got some good guests here.
I know.
Dang, man.
Pretty soon she's gonna
I
take
wouldn't be here
over.
without her, so I can say that.
I wouldn't be here without Monica. I guess we're in the same boat.
Oh, yes,
Want to go
we
have
are.
lunch? Let's go. Dan.
We'll go have lunch at a better place.
Oh, please. Better place.
We're flying into Italy.
Oh, my God.
Italian food.
Well, thank you
All right,
so
guys.
much for coming. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you. Yeah.
Guys, make sure you guys contact Dan. And if you want more information, even about loans and certain things, contact, Valerie here, our business consultant. But other than that, we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you so much for watching Let's Connect Now. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And if you want to be a sponsor, contact us today.